Is it a crime to enter this country seeking asylum?
No.
Anywhere that you enter seeking asylum?
Well, I believe the Trump administration tried to make it a crime for a while and not allow you to apply for asylum if you were not applying at a point of entry, but that has been an injunction by the courts.
That's right. So currently, it is not a crime to enter this country seeking asylum.
That's correct.
Are you aware that children at Homestead who are staying in this influx center, when they turn 18, are being shackled and sent to federal prison?
Yes, as we were told, that's their birthday present.
And that this applies to both, girls, boys, turn 18, you're sent to federal prison. Why would that be if there is no crime of illegally entering this country?
There is, in my understanding, that there's no transition facility. When someone turns 18, they're considered an adult under the law, and so they go to an ICE detention center.
Dr. Stewart, you were just talking about trauma-informed care, and I know that you are not ORR, but do you have any sense of the quality of counseling, given the expertise that is needed to treat these children for the trauma that we have inflicted upon them at Homestead or throughout the ORR system?
I have no specific and direct knowledge, only what has been reported from people who've made visits, who the American Academy of Pediatrics, and who talked about that. The original person who wrote one of the letters identifying the challenges facing these children is a psychiatrist in Louisiana, and she identified some of the problems with the kinds of services that were being provided, but I have no personal knowledge of that.
Do you happen to know if ORR in the past was able to manage the unaccompanied children through the use of nonprofits? Has it always been such a private, heavily private industry?
I can say that generally it's been operated by nonprofit or not-for-profit institutions, but the focus has been on locating facilities that are shelter-like, home-like environments. In the past, that was the focus, and I think what we've really shifted to now is these large institutional settings that, as you heard, have very large profit margins and are not focused on the well-being of children and are not licensed. I'm very concerned about the licensing, including that some of these facilities, ORR does not consider them permanent, and therefore they don't even fall under the requirement for Prison Rape Elimination Act audits, which goes to this issue of safety.
And not only is there a startling number of sexual assaults reported from staff members, but also child-on-child assaults, which goes to your very point in the need for licensing and regulation. Do you have any understanding from ORR what they are doing to improve the background checks of the staff at these facilities?
Well, we've talked with people in the FBI, and apparently background checks do not take 1 month or 2 months or 3 months as they're taking now. And when we visited the Homestead facility, they actually conducted background checks on us before we could talk with the kids, and they finished that within the same morning. So I don't know what ORR is doing in terms of why the background checks take so long.
Yeah. Words fail me at how we are failing these children and these families. And I do want to ask you just briefly, with the Flores decision, 1997 has been around. What was the point of that decision? Was it to make sure that children were cared for and released as quickly as possible to family members?
To be clear, it's not a decision, it's an agreement between the federal government and children detained. So the federal government agreed to this. It's not like a court enforced them to it. The federal government entered into this contract and said, we will treat children in this way. And there's been various court decisions interpreting it since then. but it's still a binding settlement agreement on the federal government.
And do you believe that this agreement is responsible for increase in human and drug trafficking across our southern border?
I don't. I don't think we can blame legal protections for migration. I mean, if we go down this line, at some point, we're going to be saying the Constitution is attracting people to our country, so let's not apply that to undocumented immigrants. It's a slippery slope, and I hope we don't fall down that.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you very much.